even if the guy has a really bad last name and your last name is the dopest last name ever, sorry.
You gotta wear that shit proud.
That was
Taking
my
his last
life.
name.
I had the dopest, without question, the best last name ever, and I struggled to rid myself of that name because my new last name is so basic. It's incredibly basic. I was struggling with that. But Brian, this brings up a good point, and it's not leaving the conversation. But didn't you say I tried to cram all the episodes that I could this past week since I'm not a regular viewer of this show, but you said there's no reason for a man to want to get married, or there's no benefit to a man getting married, or
there's a religious benefit if you're religious, but absent religion, I don't really think there. Well, I mean, the better framing is for the breadwinner. There's no benefit, really, in totality.
so there's money.
Which is typically the man.
I get what you're saying.
But did you want to
well,
provide pushback or?
Well, it's tied to what she was saying. I thought about it because I was like, yeah, I can see where he's coming from, but what about your lineage?
Oh, I can have kids outside of marriage.
Sure, you can, but in the case of like her family, if it's me and you, and you have not given me the benefit of marriage, why would I give you the benefit of giving my child your last name?
That's true.
Well, I think there is an argument to be made. If you're not married to the person, then you don't have to take the last name. However, as it relates to the children, whether married or not, there is a tradition that exists there that the children, regardless of the marriage status, the children take the father's last name.
But in every state legally, hospitals prefer when parents are not married to take the name of the mother, her last name. It's usually just her suggesting that the dad gets it, that they give the child the last name. But we could just say, I could just say I'm just saying she's well within her rights to say, oh, well, I'm going to give the child my last name. And then you might have progeny, but you won't have any legacy.
Well, hold on. Yes, a woman could do that, but...
And she should.
Yeah, I mean, what do you mean she should? She should do that if we're not married, but she's my woman?
Well, if you're not married, then she's not your woman. No,
she shouldn't. No, well, hold on. She is my woman whether we're married or not. But yeah, she's my married. She is, and I'm her man. But yeah, so.
Okay, if you say so.
However, regardless of our marriage status, at least any woman I would choose to have children with, again, regardless of if we're married or not, our kids have my last name.
Yeah, but you can't. She can, like you were saying, she could flip on you, and then she can divorce you, and she can. A prenup doesn't mean anything.
Yep.
She can easily have the baby and be like, "I went through all this, and this man won't give me a ring. He's not getting lineage. I'm going to keep this baby with my last name," and she's well within her rights to do so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if we have a dispute over what lineage means, but I mean,
like legacy.
Blood. Well, yeah, but blood lineage would exist regardless.
No, that's progeny.
No, lineage would relate to blood regardless what their actual last name is.
Well, when you trace the family tree, you go by the father's...
Unless I'm misunderstanding lineage, which, I mean, I'm going to just Google it.
Like legacy, like your last name being carried into perpetuity.
Lineage...
So your son will not have your last name. His child will now have his grandfather's last name, which is his mother's last name.
So... I think that can be a component of lineage, but I think lineage, I think lineage would be beyond just the name. That relates to blood and ancestry.
Yeah, but you don't see blood on family histories. You see, they track your history based unless
my lineage. Well, wait, hold on. This doesn't even make sense. So if my lineage, then, if I married a woman who had children from another man, or I get cucked. But the kid has my last name. Is that my lineage?
If she takes
that's an L.
No. So if you adopt her children, and the judge gives you that child's last name, right? Is that what you're saying?
By the way, just to be clear, that's not. When I was saying it's an L to be cucked. I don't think it's an L to be a stepfather.
Oh no, it's amazing.
I just wanted But it's like if she gets pregnant by another man, and I think it's my kid, and the kid has my last name, that's not my lineage.
But but it is now. You have now robbed that child's, not you robbed it, but the child's biological father has been robbed of his legacy by the court, and it's been bestowed upon the new father legally to now have every accomplishment, everything that goes with this child, now will have Brian's last name with this child going further. That's why it's such a big deal to adopt somebody or to take somebody's last name, because you now have all the ownership and rights or whatever that go with this person into the future, onto their child, onto their son's child, onto their son's son's child.
I mean, I don't know if we're having just a kind of a dispute over the definition of lineage.
But where am I? But I understand what you're saying. But are you understanding what I'm saying? If a wife, you assumed that whoever you impregnate, whether you marry her or not, she is going to give your child, your biological child, your last name.
Yeah.
But she is well within her legal rights, and most states, especially when the parents are not married.
Whoa, wait, hold on. Even if I'm married to her, she's well within her legal rights.
Absolutely.
To dispute the name of the child and want the last name. So I don't see why marriage is related to this. Regardless of our marriage status, even if we're married, the woman could be a bitch or whatever it is, or she could just have a difference of opinion. Like even if we get married, here's how we're going to do it with the children. Oh, now that I've had a kid, we're going to hyphenate. I want the kid to have my last name. And ultimately, I don't know exactly the legal framework of what would happen if under a marriage there was a dispute as to the last name of the child. I don't know what would happen. I'm assuming the hospital would probably defer to the mother, probably.
Yeah.
Probably. So marriage wouldn't even protect me in that situation. In this case, the lineage is blood, but I can date a woman and we can agree, hey, we're not going to get married, and she can defer to me, she can acquiesce to me, and she can be like, the kid's going to have your last name, Brian. Marriage would not protect me in this circumstance.
But why would she have to defer to you for the child's last name?
Why would a woman have to acquiesce even in the marriage?
Because typically a woman who gets married and takes her husband's last name will give her child her husband's last name. It's her last name too.
Trust me, a lot of women run their shit even in marriage. In fact, I think men get more cucked. I think men get more cucked in marriage because there's a bunch of women use marriage as leverage. Like women will use marriage as leverage to get their will. So I actually think it's in terms, if we're talking about who has more leverage in a relationship, I actually think the leverage, it's not so much I have more leverage, she has more leverage, but in marriage, the person who's not the breadwinner has the leverage in the marriage.
The person who's not the breadwinner has the leverage
in the marriage. And this is typically the woman. Diabetic shock, stay.
For how much longer?
I don't know. How about, can you pump out another 30, 40 minutes? What do you think?
It's already been over that it should be.
It's like life over here, life, death over here.
Hey, look, I'm not
It's a long drive
opposed
back,
to
and I
just
don't-
having somebody die on the whatever.
Oh
I'm
my
kidding.
God.
I'm kidding. Go ahead. We'll have you back again when you
Yes.
have your meds or whatever.
Thank you, and it's awesome to see a picture of Charlie here. Keep that up forever. Piss off the libtards. Keep doing your thing. You're all lovely. I'm glad that we all got to talk. Have a good night.
Good night.
Drive safe.
Thank you.
Here, can you take her seat? We'll just move over a little bit. So, what was your point? Sorry.
Oh, my point was when a woman gets married and takes her husband's name, because your point was even if you get married, there's no guarantee. But if she takes your name and when she gets married and y'all have a baby, why would she not give her child her last name, which is also your name?
I see. So you're saying, well, in a scenario where she's gone ahead, prior to having children, gone ahead and taken your last name, and you guys are married, well, obviously, the children are going to
have
take
her last name too.
Her last name, which happens to be your last name. Yeah, that makes total sense for me, but I don't see why marriage is necessary for this.
Well, I'm just saying.
You acknowledge that when somebody gets married, there's nothing that legally compels the woman to take the husband's last name, even in marriage.
Oh, right, absolutely.
Right. So the same standard would apply whether we're married or not. If the woman is disinterested in having either her last name being my last name or having the children take on my last name, they're within, whether married or not, they're within their legal rights to prevent that.
But once you get married, you decide whose last name is whose. Whether she keeps her last name, whether she hyphenates, once you get married, y'all make a decision, right? So whatever you decide whose last name is who. Then you have the baby, right? Now you decide, okay, is she going to have my hyphenated last name or going to have his last name or my last name? But it's going to make no sense if the baby doesn't have one of your names.
Well, I mean, my
One of your if her married name or your last name, because you're saying the marriage is no guarantee. Yeah, sure, it's not. But once you get married, you're going to figure it out before you have the baby.
Look, if this is like a planned pregnancy where I'm dating a woman, I'm together with a woman, and we've made a decision that we're going to have kids. First off, conversation about last name has probably already happened. Although the type of woman that I would date, I'm highly confident that there would not be any dispute over the last name of our children. Like,
freedom is scary. You never know. She could have a baby and just. I went through all these hours of labor and he won't give me a ring. Well,
this would all be determined. Yeah, but this would all be determined well in advance. I mean, I'm like, you can have the conversation with your girlfriend. Hey, I want the children to have my last name. Like, here's how the conversation would probably go. I don't even think I would need to have it. But if I did, I'd go like, hey, so look, we're thinking about having children. I want the kids to have our last name. And she's going to be like, oh yeah, sure. That's the conversation. Like, that's the conversation I anticipate I'm going to have. Absent marriage.
I mean, that's a big presupposition, but I think that you have to be prepared for a woman to say, well, I want to give my child, like, I wasn't expecting her to say that that her name was hyphenated. I mean, I thought based on how she was talking.
It wouldn't be an assumption that I'm just like blindly going into like getting a woman pregnant. First off, if any woman who I'm going to want to have kids with, we're going to probably have significant alignment on values. So I don't even think it's going to ever be a conversation with whatever woman I end up having children with. She's going to probably align with my values, my kind of relationship dynamic, and it's going to be a foregone conclusion that that the kids are going to have my last name. But even if it's not so easy to just assume that, it'd be very easy for me to just simply say, hey, so we're thinking about having kids. I want the kids to have my last name, and I'm very confident that I already did it, but here's how that conversation's going to go. She's going to say, yeah, that sounds good. End of conversation. And then if that's not how that conversation goes, then again, it's kind of like, that's just the kind of woman I would pick. Maybe I'm mistaken, but otherwise, I'm pretty confident that the conversation is going to go in that way.